Hi, I am Scott Herbst. I am founder of Six Flex Training and Consulting, and you are listening to or watching The Flex, a show where we have conversations with people who are expressing leadership with the intention that it open access to you expressing yours. I'm really excited to have Stephanie Vavilala here with us today. Stephanie is the founder and CEO of Autism Wonderland, and that's Autism AWE, like awe, um, Wonderland. And they provide primarily clinic-based services to children, kids who are on the autism spectrum, currently in the St. Augustine, Florida area. However, they are expanding. We'll hear more about that. As usual, I am going to let you hear Stephanie's story from Stephanie. So I'll shut up. Stephanie, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. Where I always like to start these interviews is I'd love to hear your story and, specifically the story of what brought you into a position of founding and leading a clinic, starting wherever you would see to start that.
Okay. Whew, it's like how far back do I go? Well, I'll start with my daughter, who at 2 was diagnosed with autism. At that time, I was a licensed mental health counselor, and I had a private practice, a group private practice. But I didn't know anything about autism. I was a registered play therapist and supervisor, so I was highly specialized in working with children with mental health issues, but not neurological. So that was a very pivotal moment in my life getting that diagnosis. So I had the
Mm.
opportunity to sit with it and feel the gravity of what that could mean for my daughter and her life. And I sat with that for about an hour or so. And I was like, okay, you can either, just follow this traditional path, go seek help and find it and hope for the best. Or you can take control of the situation in charge and do your research. And that led me to basically going back to school to get my course sequence to become a BCBA. And that was just really meant to help my daughter. And everybody kept expressing that you're a mother and you're a mental health counselor and like now you're a BCBA, like your perspective could help a lot of people.
Can
Um,
I ask you a question?
of course, anytime.
I'm really interested in this.
Okay.
You said you sat with it, and people say that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And like I sat with that, but
Mm-hmm.
what sounds unique in what you shared is that you said I sat with it for an hour.
Mm-hmm.
So it sounds like you're pretty in tune with what that process was like for you. Like it's not just a throwaway phrase for you.
Right. No, I
Tell me
literally,
about what that process was
yeah,
like what
yeah.
you were going through as you sat with it.
Yeah, I literally was sitting with the diagnosis paperwork, reading
Uh-huh.
it, reading the prognosis, reading the recommendations, just like, whew, this is a lot. And the
Uh-huh.
initial feeling is feeling alone and overwhelmed and helpless. And I'm like, here I am, like a mental health provider, right? And in the healing,
Yeah.
helping field, but I have no idea how to help my own daughter in this journey.
Mm. Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, I can rely on all these things that are in here and all these people that can help her or whatever, or I can also do that and figure out how I can help her as well. So after that hour of just sort of sitting and reading and crying and like whatever, then I just jumped on the internet and I started how to become a BCBA and like how to
Wow.
about autism. And I just started Googling and searching and found a company, enrolled in the courses, and just started that journey. So yes, a little extreme measure from what most people would do, but I just knew that I could find a way to help her myself as well, not to just rely on the system or other people. So that was the time. Yeah. So I went back to school, got that, and then people were like, you need to help other people. So I'm like, okay. So we started doing a little home-based therapy, some community-based therapy, some school-based therapy. And then sort of COVID hit, right? And everybody was isolated and alone and all of that. And it was sort of during that break and that pullback time where I was like, okay, when we come out of this, I want a space and a place for my daughter and other kiddos like her with like-minded practitioners working together for one common goal, which is the child. And all services be under one roof so that parents and guardians didn't have to decide what they could get their kids to. They could get it all. They didn't have to make choices about what was going to be most effective because they had all of what they needed under one roof. And I had searched for it before, but I couldn't find anything. So during that time, I was like, okay, let's create it.
Mm.
And so that's when the wheels started turning. I had a lot of time, right, during COVID, as a lot of people did, and limiting the other things, right, that would take up my time and energy to really think through this, to go on Canva and make, little pictures of what this looked like and play with the name and figure out what energy I wanted it to embody and who I wanted it to serve and what it would look like and how I wanted kids and people and the staff to feel when they worked there. So it was very intentional about the name and all of that that surrounded that. And so um,
Well,
I,
can I just
yeah,
stop and pause?
of course.
And
Mhm.
um,
Mhm.
I love what you said. I've talked with, and this is probably like episode 50 right now ish, and
Mhm.
and I hear that a lot. That not exactly what you said, or not
Mhm.
like people haven't created exactly what you've created, but I've heard people really have a vision
Mhm.
and they find that they go looking for it and it's not there in the world. And
Yeah.
what I really appreciate is the leap that you take
Mhm.
towards looking at something that you want to be in the world that isn't there, and
Mhm.
then saying, oh, okay, well, it's time that we created this.
Right.
And I imagine that and I'm saying this as someone who probably gets stopped by things, where when you see that something's not in the world, you could just give up and say, okay, well, I'm going to settle. And so I really appreciate the I'll call it creativity that that is behind that, right?
Yes.
And would
Yeah.
encourage people to use their creativity. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I always so do some, coaching and things like that too, but I always talk about the difference between what I believe is like a goal and like a dream. So a goal is sort of like planning out, right? Like everything step by step. It's risk calculated. It's I just do this and then I do this. A dream is sort of like, let me just run into a wall or jump in and like I'll figure it out. Like all the things will come necessary for that to happen because I'm so passionate about it and I believe it so much. And everybody in the world could say like this is not possible, but if you believe that it's possible, you can create it and do it. And you need to surround yourself with people and leaders that inspire you to help you realize that like yes, it's a dream, but dreams can be realized. They're not just a fantasy. It's actually something that can come to fruition
Well,
if
and
you
it sounds like,
Mhm.
and I'd be interested to hear more about this,
Mhm.
that you had this idea that I'm hearing, correct me, but it sounds like you would have initially called that idea a dream, right?
Yeah. Yeah, like
Um,
wouldn't it be wonderful if there was a place that had all
yeah.
the things, right?
But what I really appreciate is that you then started going through and really
Mm,
like getting serious about
yeah.
uh bringing your dream into reality, in and not just
Mhm.
for yourself, like, oh, I have this dream that exists with me, but doing some work to have it like you were, I was in Canva and putting and then having conversations and really talking about what is the experience I want, and really getting into the particulars of it so that it became vivid,
Mhm.
like a real vivid expression of this idea you had.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I think I'm a big believer in manifestation too, that it's like you can dream it, but if you can't feel it and experience what it's like, then you're not there yet. You really have to like act as if this is happening, right? And how that would feel and those kinds of things. So I think that that was something that was pivotal and really important in this process to make sure that I stayed true to that and that the naysayers or the people would be like, nobody likes where they work. Like, come on. I'm like, seriously. But just to keep that vision strong and align yourself with people that do believe that. And
Can we talk about this?
yeah.
Because I'm gonna be straight with you. When I hear manifestation,
Mm.
to me it sounds a little woo-woo, right?
It can
Um,
be. Uh-huh.
and well, but there's a way that people talk about manifestation, like Oprah will talk about, like I
Yeah.
manifested this,
Yes,
right?
exactly.
Um, but but there's a lot going on with Oprah besides, I imagine, just like sitting on her couch and thinking, like, I'm gonna create, no, like she's brilliant at building relationships
Yeah.
and empowering people. And I mean, you just look at all the uh, for better or worse, people who she's really elevated over the course of her career. And and so and then I hear other people talk about manifestation
Mhm.
who, like, it's a very real phenomena for them, and it's a very real phenomena for you. Like, you can
Yeah.
say, like, no, I can manifest things.
Right.
My wife is actually like that. She's like, when I
Right.
really want something, when I sit down, and she says she
Yeah.
manifested me, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Um,
No doubt. Yeah.
and so, but let's talk about that. And if we could
Yeah.
talk about the pathway there,
Hmm.
because I imagine it didn't stop with, and you've already pointed to it, it didn't stop with just like, oh, there's this big idea.
Right.
You like got in action around
Absolutely.
shaping that idea. So let's talk about the process and the pathway, if you're
Yeah.
willing.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think manifestation sort of, when you hear that, a lot of people think of The Secret, right? The book that
Yes, exactly.
came out that's just like put it on a vision board and dream it and
And
it
wait.
right, exactly. And
Yeah.
patiently wait. But that's not that's a law of attraction, but there are many other laws that are in force as well that have to come together. So manifesting is just having that idea and feeling it and truly believing that that is possible. But it doesn't come to fruition without inspired action. And that's the big piece because it's really about not just the thoughts and like the feelings, but what's the action that we're taking. Every choice that we make leads to this way or this way or this way. So it's a
Yeah.
combination of choices that you're making and active intentionality in what you're doing that then creates that which you dream or which you want into your life. And I think that's where people sort of get and they're like, well, I've tried to manifest something, like I've thought and I've felt it. But I also believe a big part in manifestation is that, you know, the saying, like I like to say a lot of people when they're like, fake it till you make it kind of thing, right? Just act as if
Hmm.
fake it till you make it. And I say with manifestation, it's like you have to believe it until it's believable. So you can say, oh, I want to manifest this in my life. But if you're disconnected from that and you can't feel it and you actually don't believe that that is believable and available to you and for you, you're never going to receive that. Just saying it or acting as if is not what's going to bring it to you. You have to take that inspired action. And
Yeah,
I,
so let's talk a little bit about that.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, the inspired action
because I
part.
think we're still a little bit, it's still
Moving.
kind of
Yeah,
conceptual, but
yeah,
so
right.
one thing I really appreciate about what you said, that you had this dream and you started taking action so that you could really feel it.
Right.
And
Yeah,
so, like, exploring, what does it look like? Creating, like you said, playing around, getting
yeah,
on Canva, messing around with different
exactly.
images,
Yeah, yeah,
like
going.
probably moving things around and saying that's not it, and oh, cool, like no, this is
Right,
closer, and then exploring, like, well, what does this feel like, and what do I want it to feel
right.
like?
Right.
Yeah,
And going to spaces and places to say, does this feel like it? Does this look like it? Right. Exploring like where this would be housed, right? And what area I
Mm.
wanted in and what I wanted to be a part of the building and the feel and like those kinds of things. So basically, like creating a business plan, if you will, but in a fun, creative way that didn't feel like I was like writing my mission, my values, right? So I was creating them more through um, more like and there's a big difference between, I believe, like active action, right, which is going and the doing, and then like quiet action, which is more like the sitting, the thinking, the feeling part of it. So I think it involves both of those things. Like I said, I was very intentional about. I wanted to have a big space where the kids could play outside, right? And I wanted to have an area for a sensory gym and the things that the components of what that would look like. I wanted to make sure that those were all like a part of what I'm going out and looking at. Is this feel like it could be in this space and in this place and so that's what I just did. And then I started thinking about who are the people, right, that I need to have aligned with me as part of my team. Like, yes, I'm the leader, but the leader is only as good as the team that is a part of that. So, like, who needed to be right in my corner with me, and what were their roles, and um, all those kinds of things. So I just started just doing all of these things until it happened where I found a building and signed a contract and I created my LLC and my name and all those kinds of things and just sort of started. I've kind of like, what is it, the movie The Field of Dreams? Well, build it and they'll come.
Build it, they will come. Yeah.
Build.
Well,
Mhm.
I really wanna underscore this
Mhm.
that it I appreciate, for me, we're taking the mysticism out of it, right?
Yes.
You said there's two things.
Mhm.
There's the sitting, the reflecting, the
Mhm.
like the imaginative work,
Right.
right?
Right.
And then there's going out in the world. And it sounds like here with the imaginative work, you got in touch with like, oh, what do I really want? What does it feel, etc.
Right.
And
Yeah.
then it wasn't like, oh, cool, this will, Zillow is going to send me a notification.
Right. Exactly.
And, but like actually looking around, and in looking around, um, kind of learning even further what it was I want, and
Mhm.
letting your exploration kind of shape your vision.
Right.
It sounds like until the two kind of came together,
Right. And
right?
yeah, I kind of see like the quiet part is sort of like the heart, and then like the action and the more doing is more of like the head, right? So you need like
Yeah.
part of it to build it, to dream it, to feel it, and then you need the head that's like doing the work and putting into action. And a great example of that manifestation was when I wanted to open it, I was so excited, right? I'm like, I'm ready to go. Like I have no patience. Like I gotta find a place, right? So I started looking, and ideally, when I thought about where is it that I would want, it was in like a particular area, like right off the highway, easy accessible, whatever. But there were no commercial buildings for sale in that area. So I started searching out like a little bit further, right? And I found a place where I was like, convinced myself like this was not the ideal location, but I kind of got swept up in like the dream part too. Like, I just want a place and I can't find something. So settling, like we talked about settling, like I think this place will do. Like I can, like technically I could make any sort of space work, right? But so
Yeah.
I started like negotiating, getting in contracts, and then there were just things that would pop up. And that's where I feel like the universe and the manifestations kind of come up, like little signs, like this seems a little bit harder than what it should be. This is not
Hmm.
feeling exactly like right. And so it's sort of a long story, but the short version is I was actually getting ready to sign the contract and they hadn't sent it to me yet. And I'm like, I'm going out of town at spring break. And so as I was getting in the car to go to spring break, my realtor is like, this building just came on the market. I still have goosebumps talking about it. I'm like, oh my God, it was exactly where I wanted it to be. It had exactly everything that I wanted. The other place, like, really, it was kind of like off a road that wasn't really safe and it didn't have a lot of like space to play. And it was literally like the universe was like, here. And that's why I so believe in divine timing and not trying to like rush things or force things or settle, because if you sit and wait for it, it's going to come around. Did I do my work? Yes, I hired a realtor. She was looking. I told her what I wanted, whatever, but it just wasn't happening. I'm a quick, like, let's do it yesterday kind of thing. But there were things that happen, and I think it's true for everybody, right? I think Oprah, I love Oprah. I think she said it like, when the universe is trying to tell you something, it might show up kind of like a little knock, like, "Doo-doo-doo-doo, hello, like this is not right," or something like that. And you don't listen. Then it's like a bang, bang. Are you here? Do you hear me? And then it's like a building falling on top of you. That's like, oh, hello. Right. So you can like start to be more in tune with like those little signs that, okay, maybe those are trying to tell me something. And I'm a big believer in that things happen for a reason. Again, you might not know where or what, but if you truly believe in like the manifestation and divine timing, then you know that you don't have to compromise. Whatever you actually want, like your wife wanted you, right? She didn't compromise. She's like, this is exactly what I want. And she was patient, and like, there you go, right? And so that's the building that I'm in now. So, I mean, I can't make that up. Like that's just how it happened. And I think a great example of just trusting the timing and the lessons and what you need to learn and grow and be and all of that, to that you have to do that before you get to this point, right? So, um, yeah, so the building came available, and then it was like, let's go. I had everything already in place, and I did the, again, inspired action. I had the SBA, funding. Like I was already working on all of those pieces. And when it's right and the divine timing, it just sort of comes together and it flows. Like people don't understand when you say it flows, people don't understand that unless they've had that experience where they feel in like a flow state. And it doesn't mean everything's perfect, right? But it just feels right and it flows, and things that you might think are going to be hard are actually pretty easy because it's aligned and it's right. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
The thing I would say that I think people can really use and take is doing the work to connect to what really matters to you,
Mhm.
and what really matters to you and what inspires you,
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
what lights you up,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
um
Yeah.
and then going out and doing the work from there,
Hmm.
staying connected to that.
Right.
And
Right.
yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. There's a lot
um
of ways to make money, and there's a lot of ways to lead, right? And a lot of people to lead in a lot of different situations. So we have that desire, but we get to decide how we want to, right, show up in the world and how we want to share those gifts that we have or the work that we've cultivated in ourselves in what aligns best with us. And
awesome.
that's available to all of us if we believe it. I always say, like, well, you got to believe in magic to see it, right? You have to believe in it to see what there is out there. Yeah.
Awesome. um all
Mhm.
right, so thank you for all of that.
Yes,
And
of course.
so now you've got your building, right?
Got the
uh
building.
will you
Mhm.
talk about building your team?
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, I got the building and it was sort of like, oh, like I said, build it and they'll come. And that is a great saying. um, but it takes some time to build, right? Something new. So we just started with a couple of kids, and I started hiring. And I did all the hiring as, the CEO and founder, because again, this is my mission and this is my vision. And I want people that are aligned with that. But I also want people that I am a leader who I believe as a leader, it is my responsibility to help you grow and develop and to leverage your gifts, your desires, your talents to contribute, right? To the cause, to the business. So when I interviewed people, I'm like, what are you passionate about? What would you bring to this? Like if you could develop a program or a work schedule or something, like what would that look like for you? And people are like, these are not typical. interview questions, right? You can't Google it and they're like, oh yeah, they're going to ask this, right? These are things
Hmm.
because I care about people. I'm not hiring an employee. I'm hiring a person to join my mission, right? And to help
Yeah.
kiddos. And I want to empower them to be their best self because when they're their best self, you know, the center in the workplace can be its best self. So I also had gotten my doctorate, so in education and organizational leadership, and my dissertation was on job satisfaction. So I'd already, had that sort of in my wheelhouse of my background. I wasn't quite sure how I was going to use that until Autism Wonderland came around. I'm like, oh, that's why I got that connecting the dots, right? But I had different conversations when I was hiring. I wanted to know how, like I said, how people saw themselves in this type of business, what gifts and talents they had that they wanted to share with our kiddos and those kinds of things. So I just did it again, just like we do a therapy different at Autism Wonderland and see it different. I did the interviewing and the leadership and the style of hiring a little bit different. And then we would bring people in and we'd have them shadow for the day before we hired them. We wanted to see, like, it's one thing to have a conversation. Like, I feel like hiring is sort of like, I don't know, similar to dating, whereas sort of you can have a good conversation and feel like you know someone, it's going to work. And then maybe the second time or like whatever, you're like, whoa, who is this person? It's totally different than that, right? And
Hmm.
so I wanted to see because you can't fake a heart, you can't, there's certain things that yes, you can kind of do to like get away with it for a while, but like when you really put people into the task and in front of what you're doing and forward facing with your clients, customers, consumers, whatever you call them, like you can feel it, right? And you can see it and you can tell whether they're a good fit or not. So that's
Can we back up just a
uh,
second? One thing my mind's not letting go of this.
yeah. Mhm.
I love the approach to asking people
Mhm.
what they would really not just contribute, like what would you bring,
Right.
but what would you want to?
Yeah.
What would you
Right.
want to bring into this business? How does your vision connect with ours? I imagine you were kind of listening for that,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah. Would
And
you're
I'm
driving the
curious,
line. Yeah. Hmm.
yeah. And I'm curious because that is such an unusual question. At that point, how would you know that, oh, okay, this person, we're going to have them to come in and shadow, right?
Yeah.
Or, thank you very much, and we're not going to have you back.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Can you say something about that?
Yeah. I wish I had a more scientific explanation for it besides that it was just like a feeling like I could just feel that. I could just feel that this person should be here. And I'm also again very intentional about whatever you believe in, God, spirits, the angels, the universe, whatever, like guide me to the right decision. Like show me yes. Like how does that feel? How does yes feel? How does no feel? Those kinds of things. So very intuitive in that. And it didn't mean that it always worked out. Like I haven't hired everybody that's always stayed on and like whatever. But I just sort of went off that, like how I felt. And um my once we kind of got a little bit more established, my staff was like, we really want to hire. So in order to work with kids on the spectrum with most insurance companies, you have to be like a registered behavioral technician. And so they were like, listen, we need these people that have lots of years of like experience and things like that. And I'm like, but do we? It's really like a 40-hour course that they can take and you can train them and they get the supervision and they pass the exam. So I understand what you're saying and bringing in someone that's already qualified and already doing the work. I said, but sometimes those people can be more, and I hate to use the word jaded, but sometimes when you're in the field a while, right? It's like you think you know it and you've got it down and you're not really open to
Mhm.
feedback, or somebody new that has a passion. I'm like, they just need a passion for it. If they have a passion, we can teach them that. And some of my best RBTs are ones that had no experience with special needs kids, just a desire and a passion, and they learned. And it didn't matter that they didn't have experience. I gave them a chance. You know, it's like when you go to interviews, I'm like, well, do you have an experience with like they're no. Oh, we want experience. Well, how do you get experience if you don't have to have if you don't have experience? Like, who's going to give you that chance, right? To get that experience and to take a chance and to try out something new. And I wanted to be that center that did that, not just a dream for, again, the kids and things like that, but like an opportunity maybe for someone that couldn't get into the field otherwise because they didn't have the experience. Let's create the experience for them. So again, just a little different thought process and hiring people because it does take a little bit more care, more effort, more time
Hmm.
to, but you're investing in these people, not just like an employee, but as as you care about them. So that has been a great process, you know. And then we started a process too where we have a student analyst program so that individuals that come to us and work as are getting their master's degree, we're training them in how to be a BCBA and providing them free supervision. And then we want to bring them on board when we have an opportunity for them. Like we want to provide them with that opportunity because we want to grow with them. I don't ever want anyone stuck in something and in some place that they don't want to be. That is not going to best benefit my kiddos or my business. So I've always had this philosophy of I'm always going to support you if this no longer, you know, meets your needs or you want to do something else or whatever. There is like no love lost. Like I am so grateful for the time that you've been here and whatever. And I just know that's opening up space for somebody else who's now more aligned to come into that. So I just have a very positive, abundant thinking about staff and bringing people in, and that the people who are supposed to be there and are going to be there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
We are getting time has flown here.
I
We're getting close to the time we've set aside to talk.
know.
I am curious. Well, before we pressed record, you were sharing about your latest development. Are you willing to share some about that and talk about what's next and the challenges you see
Yeah.
ahead?
Absolutely. So I'm super excited. I just got the contract to franchise my business. One of the things that was really important to me is the impact of our work with our special needs community. I was saying this at our staff Christmas party. I said, so my daughter, Savita, she's 14. She's nonverbal. She speaks with an iPad. I created a nonprofit called Savita Speaks, where we get funds and donations to help support our autistic, you know, kiddos that don't have a voice. And I was like, wait a minute, people can't like it's not just affording the iPad, but it's the iPad, it's the programming on it, it's the training to use it. I was like, no child should go without a voice. Like that's like inhumane, right? Insurance will give a kid a wheelchair or a hearing aid or like whatever, but how about a voice, an iPad? So I was like, no, we're gonna fix this. So I started the nonprofit. And I actually wrote a book too about it called Sabita Finds Her Voice, which is on Amazon about inclusion, awareness, advocacy. But my reach is sort of my reach. It's in sort of my community, right? And there's such a strong need. Like we can't keep up with the waiting list for our kiddos. I can't keep enough staff. My building's not big enough. I don't have the capacity to own or operate a bunch of other locations, but I do have the capacity to share the gift that I created for my daughter so that that gift can be shared with other people. And I feel like, you know, part of leadership is that you're the leader, but it can run without you, right? Because you're giving people space and you're inspiring them and you're helping them up level and things like that. But like my mission is solid and my business model is solid. And someone, another person, a steward can take that and create that. Another mom, another dad that can't find what I couldn't find. It's all there. I've made all the mistakes, you know, I've done all the things not to do to know what to do. And just to be able to share that with other people. There cannot be enough autism wonderlands in the world. It is much needed. Our population is underserved. All of the places have waiting lists. Like We need more of this. And so this is the way that I can evolve as a leader, that I can scale my business by providing this opportunity to other leaders and to other people that want to take on this mission and bring that to fruition in their own town, their own city, wherever that goes. So I'm just super excited about that.
What challenges do you see in like looking forward
Right.
in terms of growing and empowering people and developing this? I'm
Yeah.
curious. Yeah, go ahead.
Right. Well, this was a conversation I was having with the franchise, company too, that I'm like, I always say like not all business is good business, right? So I think for
Hmm.
me, the challenge is really making sure that whoever I choose to um, be a franchisee has that same heart and that same desire, right? They're sort of to purchase it, they're kind of bound, right, by my mission and my vision and stuff like that. There's not a lot that they can do like outside of that, but
Hmm.
it's like a recipe, right? Like you can follow step by step, but if you don't have like that heart and that passion, like your French toast may taste different than their, French toast. It's sort of like knowing like the little extra things maybe to add in or, how you need to do like feeling the recipe and feeling the way that you're creating something. So yes, they can follow that manual, but if they don't have that heart and they don't have that desire to really do it in a way that is in a giving sense and a gift to our kiddos, then it doesn't work. So I feel like that is going to be my biggest challenge is just making sure that I am intentional and that I choose the right people to continue this vision and this mission. So, yeah.
Awesome.
Uh-huh.
Um, I have just a couple more questions. One
Yeah.
question I always ask
Mhm.
every guest is, what are you proud of?
Mhm. My daughter. I know you're gonna make me cry here.
Okay.
Sorry. Um, yeah, like I said, she's never spoken a word in her life, but she has just made such an impact and inspired. And I'm proud that she chose me, and I'm proud that I rose to the occasion for her. And
Awesome. Thank you.
of
Thanks.
course,
Thanks for getting a little vulnerable, and
of course,
uh, I
yeah.
appreciate it. I like when people get moved. So and I'm moved. So thank you.
So thank you. Somebody else
Yeah.
about that.
And then my last question is, people might want to reach you, an opportunity to work with you,
Yeah.
connect. Maybe they're interested in opening a franchise. How can they reach you?
Absolutely. So I am on LinkedIn, Stephanie Vavilala. I'm in St. Augustine, Florida. Also on our website, which is Awetism and then wonderland.com. There's a contact us form that they can reach out that way as well. And That's probably the best way. I'm not the best at social media, although we do have an Autism Wonderland Facebook page. I have my own personal Instagram. It's Dr. Stephanie V, but people can reach out to me that way as well. But I know that the people who are supposed to connect with me will find a way to connect with me. So I appreciate you allowing me to share my dream come true and my mission for a better world and the way that I see. And I'm just grateful for, yeah, your time, your questions, and your listeners that are listening to it and that allow themselves to see all the possibilities and be inspired by all the guests that you have coming on. Because if they're listening or watching, it's for a reason, right? So listen to that and take whatever you will with that. But like you're hearing this because you need to hear it. So thank you.
And thank you for coming on and exploring the topic of manifestation and sharing your vision and your vision and what you're creating and have created with us. I really appreciate it, and I know the listeners do as well. So thank you.
Absolutely, anytime. I'm happy to come back and share anytime. Thank you.
Awesome. And listeners, that wraps up this episode of The Flex. Of course, give us a like or wherever the buttons are. Give us a follow, 5-star reviews, whatever platform you're using. We appreciate the interaction, and we will see you back here next time on The Flex.